Ooh. Come on now. If it doesn't want to cooperate, force it. You're in charge. Yeah, that works. Tell me what you think of this. 1/8 ounce weedless Poison Tail Hair Jig modified to be an underspin. That sounds pretty good to me. So let's make one of these bad boys. I've already got the lead heating up. Let's talk about the mold. Poison Tail Jig mold, smallest of the bunch. This one makes 1/8 ounce all the way up to 3/8 ounce. So we are going for the little guy. Lots of room in there, if I can get it to focus. Lots of room in there to modify this little dude to make said underspin. Thinking about the wire, I thought about, since it's only 1/8 of an ounce, 029 would probably work out, nice and thin, but I also don't want it bending out every time I catch something decent. So, not going all the way up to 040, I'm thinking 035 may be the perfect in between. We can take this wire, lay it in there, close the mold, push it, squeeze it, crunch it, get that indentation to make a little mark, and then we just take said file and work it out enough so that this wire will sit in there and still allow the mold to close. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I put a hook in here. As I was saying, I put a hook in here. That's a 1/0. It's the size that goes with this, and the smallest you can get in this hook style. I'm thinking straight down as opposed to angled back will be nice and easy, and we don't have to worry about the length of this guy yet, or curling the end so that we have something to hook our blade onto. We'll do that at the end. I'd rather have a little bit of extra room there to work with than not enough. Got some painter's tape on there just to hold everything in place. I'm gonna take the hook out and go ahead and close her up. Obviously we've got a gap now, so let's squeeze that shut. Wire is on this side, not the underside, so we want to make sure that when we squeeze this bad boy, we get that part in the vise more so than the bottom, although we need them both, but definitely the top. All right, let's crank on it. Encourager. All right, let's see how far that got us. Woo, looking good. It's obviously not going to seal up with just the vise. I'm just looking for a good indentation on this top so I know where to file. And bingo, bango, boongo. There's one side, and there's the other with the tape. So I picked a file with a 90-degree edge, right? One of those square edges, so I could use this sharp side and get it right in there. So I'm not flat, I'm using one of the corners. Just like that. Now it's just a little bit of elbow grease and we'll be ready to pour. Filing is done, although I was just getting ready to set it up for a pour to show you guys, and had a little brain fart. The 1/8 ounce size of this guy does not take, to be weedless, you know, does not take your normal pin to leave room for the FG30 weed guard, because this takes an FG12 weed guard, which I do have, little FG12 weed guards, but there's no pin to leave the space. So what you're supposed to do is put this guy in there, cast it with the weed guard, which, if I was putting skirt material on this guy with a little rubber band or something, no big deal. You just slide it up on. But I want to put hair on this guy, and even if I wasn't, and I was going to do silicone, I would tie it on with thread. This makes that either impossible or a royal pain in the butt. Here's what I'm thinking. I got out some 050 wire. This is the big musky stuff. Compared the diameter of 050, not that you guys can see that, but you know what I'm saying, to the diameter of this guy, and they are darn close. So we're going to use this as our makeshift pin to block the lead and to leave a space there if we need to kind of bore out a little bit with the drill afterwards. no big deal. I also have some painter's tape. I'm gonna use that to keep our wire in place. Lastly, let me show you what I did with it. See what I did right there? I just put a little bend at the top so the lead has something to grab onto. Otherwise, if you don't do that, it's liable that it'll just slide right out. Would you like to see the finished product? It's a little janky with all the tape, but you get the point. All right, let's see if she works. So we got some flashing, but that's not a problem. Looks like we might be all right. This is just overflow. Cool, let me clean this up. Success. There you go. I actually poured another one already. You can see those turned out rather nice, I have to say. A little bit more of an angle, didn't go straight down 90 degrees from the head, but it's gonna totally work, and who knows, maybe a little back angle will be to our benefit. The hole on top is just a bit small. That little dude right there. So we're gonna have to widen him out to get that FG40, or FG40, yeah, FG12 in there, but that won't be too bad. There we go. There's one. There's one. Hit it on the fall. Ooh, he looks like a good one too. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Heck yeah, that'll work. Paint Pimp Daddy. This is one of the new Barlow's Razzle Dazzle powder paints. They're brand new in the Novastone line. No pigment in these guys. It is just Flake City with clear. I have 3 colors and a pure clear coat, which we're probably going to use. They recommend on the site, because this is all glitter, it can be kind of textured and you don't want that to fall off. Of course, we'll cure it, but you can dip it in clear to kind of coat the whole thing. So we will definitely do that. I asked Matt Barlow if they've put it through a fluid bed yet, and he said they haven't. So we are going to try that. So here's what we're gonna do. Since I have 2 of these, we're going to just dip one, and then I emptied out my Do It Red Flake. We're gonna then dump this in there and just see if it'll go on a fluid bed. I shook both of these up. Pimp Daddy's ready to go. Got the clear out. Let's hit the heat for about 5-6 seconds, then we'll dip it both. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, I made a mistake. Somebody was a little too excited. Holy cow. I had all kinds of screw ups there. Not only did I forget my heat shrink, which sealed up the eye, and I had to drill that back out, but also I forgot to put something in this hole. So when I dipped it in there, it nearly filled the whole thing back up. Had to get the old drill out and drill out both of those things. What a mess. This time we're going to try the fluid bed. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to calm down and see if we can't get a better deal. But first of all, let's see if this stuff even floats. And I got some bubblage. Don't know, you guys can't really see that yet. This is encouraging though. Let's give it some gas. All right, come on. Come on. Oh yeah. There you go. Novastone Razzle Dazzle Pimp Daddy is floating. Well, that's cool. Let's get it warm and dip it. And there you go. Couple of things about that I noticed though. Before I put it on the heat, I looked back at the paint, and the longer it stayed just kind of doing its thing, the lower it got to the point where it wasn't actually floating all that well. So I took some pliers or anything, you know, hard. Whack, 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 whack on the side of the cup just to kind of get it moving, and it lifted back up. So it's going to be tougher in a fluid bed. We just saw that it's definitely possible, but you may have to work a little bit faster than you normally would. I'm looking at the 2 that we did. You know, if one is necessarily better than the other, this one over here is the fluid bed. That one was dipping straight in the cup. And I really don't see a difference. So if it was me, and what I'm gonna do with this stuff going forward, I'm actually not gonna fluid bed this stuff. That's pretty strange for me, but you know, every now and then it's the right call. So I'll keep it in the jars. I suggest you guys do as well. I did dip both in clear, worked out perfect. Didn't fluid bed the clear, although if you were gonna fluid bed anything, this would be it because there's no flake in it. These guys are ready to roll. They get into the oven 325 for about 20 minutes, and then we'll turn our attention to the vise. There we go. Oh, we picked it up off the bottom. That feels like a better one. Sometimes they're just feisty. Let's see. Yeah, he'll do. He'll do just fine. Yes, sir. Yeah, another good one. Not huge, but respectable. All right. I know I said vise. And I know I said hair jig, but what I really want to do is a hybrid hair jig with a little swim bait, that little 3-inch chunk. So, you heard it, the Plastisol is warmed up. Let's make a simple color. I'm thinking a new powder pigment that I haven't used yet, Forest Green by Lureworks, and then we'll add a couple of flakes that should work with our Pimp Daddy head. I want to go easy on this stuff, so I got a full cup of BaitPlastics 242, as is the norm. That is a 1/16 of a teaspoon. Oh man, that is nice. I saw some chartreuse, I think, in that Pimp Daddy, so we're going to go with that. Again, a 1/16. Let's go half a 1/16. Sometimes these can be a little strong, and every now and then less is more. On top of that, I definitely saw some fuchsia. There we go. Kind of like a pinkish purple. So this one, I do think I want a full 16th. So let's put that in there and see where we sit. Ooh. Come on now. I know the green isn't quite as bright as our head, but man, that's Pimp Daddy. Into 8-ounce injectors, single injector, obviously one color. About as easy as it gets. Looking good. Oh yeah. Simple, effective, beautiful in its simplicity. Wow. These are perfect. Got some, got some hair ideas, what we're gonna add to this. I think it's going to complement this swim bait quite nicely. Take one out, look at the transparency. It was only a 16th of a cup, or of a teaspoon for that 1 cup, and I like it. Really appreciate the flake, right? The saturation doesn't take away from the flake, like you can't see it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I think we are a mere 2 minutes away. Of course, they'll need to cool off. I am gonna put 3D eyes on these guys, probably. Ooh, I have some special Dead Meat Custom 5/32 real small guys. He made some up. He doesn't really offer them on his website or normally, but he can make them by request, and Matt is awesome, and he just sent me some to try out because he knows I make these things that take little itty bitty eyes. So I will find some Dead Meat Custom eyes to put on our jig heads, and then the next time you see me, we will officially be at the vise. Oh, yeah, there it is, there it is. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, another good one. Come on. Yeah. Oh, golly, he's a feisty one. Holy moly's. Oh, heck yes. There we go. Now we're getting into some decent size. We'll take one of those all day. Here's our finished product, thus far anyway. Look at those dead meat custom eyes. Oh, I did have some this size, and they are looking fabulous. Let's grab some 210 denier flat wax nylon. This actually may be some of that 210 denier multi-strand nylon that I was talking about ages ago. Totally works. Love the color. That's why we're using it. Put a little thread base down right on the front collar. So 3 elements to this build outside of the blade. The first element is actually going to be flash. A lot of times you'll use flash at the end. I want to use it at the beginning because we're going to use this Magenta crystal flash. This stuff is kind of wiry. It sticks out, see that? It just sticks out. It doesn't really lay back against the bait, so it can kind of look a little spastic. So one way that you can get around that, there's going to be 2 ways we'll talk about today. One way is to put it on first so that it's behind the material and you can kind of control it and keep it under wraps. I've got 2 half pieces. I cut it right at the hank, just two of those half strands, or 1 whole one, cut it in half. Get them roughly the same, and I'm going to cut those 2 in half as well. So bring it together, snip that, and each of those, one on each side. So I found the middle, and I'm going to put that right there on the side and make your first wrap right up by the head. Don't make it way back here by the collar, make it right up by the head. So 2 light wraps, or 2 wraps rather, and then this securing wrap, I folded it over. Don't go any further back than half. See, it's already starting to flip up. That'll get controlled when we put the other stuff on it. But if you can keep your thread wraps up towards the head, you don't push it. Let me show you. If I go all the way back here and I go all the way right against that back collar, doing. See that? I push it against that collar so it shoots up. We don't want that. So keep it only about halfway back, and you'll get it to lay back quite a bit better. Let's do that now on the other side. About halfway, front wrap, or first wrap right up in front just like before. Fold it back, secure it, and then 1, maybe 2 wraps only about halfway back. And boom. See how it's nice and angled? Now for the belly. I always tend to do the belly first, even with silicone. I like doing the belly first. And our belly color is going to be chartreuse Arctic Foxtail. All right, so this is way too long. Don't need it that long, so let's kind of measure it up about 1 inch past the hook. I trim that off nice and square. It's a good bunch because I want to make sure that I have enough to push over the edges, meet up with the top color, same stuff in olive. So again, we're going to try to tie this stuff in towards the head as much as possible and shove it around until it covers about half and get that magenta under control. Crystal flash, man, has a mind of its own. That looks pretty good to me. Actually, no, I always flip it over, but I'm not ready yet, so don't flip it over yet, keep it back. All right, I got my bunch. The reason why I don't want to flip it over just yet is because we need to measure it. Make sure that our material is even. So I'll put it right up against. That looks pretty good. Maybe just a hair longer. See what I did there? Once again, nice clean cut. Now flip it over. Split it so they can go around that hook. Come around and grab it. Make sure she's lined up where you want it to be. Nice loose wrap and pull it down. And it's always a good idea when you're dealing with natural material, especially some of the slicker stuff. Bucktail for sure. Squirrel, it's an absolute must because squirrel is maybe the slipperiest stuff out there. But you got to keep some tension on this bobbin. You got to keep just a little bit of tension on it while you're moving stuff around. Otherwise, you go to move your material, and if there's no tension, you'll just move it right off of your jig. So work with one hand if you need to. See that? I changed hands on you. Just swap out hands, keep that pressure on, and put it where it needs to go. If it doesn't want to cooperate, force it. You're in charge. Pull that back and finish up our thread wraps. Again, trying to keep towards the front of the head. Really don't want to go back towards that the back of the front collar if at all possible. Some whip finishes. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be plenty. Of course, we need some Loon hard head, or not hard head, I always say that wrong, Loon head cement to lock in those threads. You could use Sally Hansen's for this as well. That would totally work. You can use super glue if you're dealing with silicone, rubber, and the like. Do not use super glue to seal your threads when using hair, natural materials. Trust me, bad things happen. But if you want to go with this Loon stuff, Loon works well on all of the applications. If you get a little bit on the hair, doesn't bother it, and it works just as well on silicone or whatever else. Bingo bango, we have our build. You can see I already curled in the bottom here. That is prepped and ready to go for a blade, and I have the blade already put together on a ball bearing swivel. All right, we don't want to chintz out here on a cheap swivel, so get a ball bearing swivel. And I went with just this little guy. I had considered a larger one, kind of matched it up. I already put our soft plastic on here to get a feel, but I felt like it was too big. Went with this one, then I took it to the test tank. I already built another one for a prototype of this, make sure that it was gonna work, the pattern and all. And I put it in the test tank, and let me just tell you, yeah, that works. I was more than pleased. The blade size is perfect, and the full package came out fabulous. Now, for those who recognized it from previous videos, we are back at the King. As you can see, we are heading to the other side where these trees are, as well as all along the far side to fish that again. We haven't been here since my spinnerbait build, where I built that spinnerbait and caught my PB 6.5 pounder. So I can only get to this side when I'm on the yak. Me and Bob are gonna go hit it. And what a beautiful day to do that in. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day. Thank you for this landowner once again that gives me access to this space. Pray your blessing on this day. Please bless my friends on YouTube for coming along with me. And may all I do here today be to your glory. Amen. There's one. Yeah. There's one. Ooh, looks like a decent one too. Yeah, baby. Come on in here. Get in my boat. Yeah, there we go. He's respectable. Well, that one came from a slightly deeper section here. It was crazy shallow up there, like dirt shallow, and obviously it's getting cold these days, frost in the morning, etc. So not a big surprise that they are moving deeper. So we will too. There's one. There's one. Oh, he's pulling me. Oh, he let it go. You dog. There, he came back for it. Oh, I lost him again. Again? You eat it again? Come on, eat it again. It's like a muskie fishing. Holy cow. Oh, that was insane. right. That's a better one. That's a better one. Yep. All right. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. You ate that thing so weird, and I gotcha. It was like he was pecking at it. Sometimes the bigger ones, man, they get a little sneaky. Good fish. Good fish. Another good one. Oh yeah. Yes, that's a good one. Come here, you. Come here, you. Come here, you. Yeah. Woo! Yeah, buddy. There we go. Well, we fished all the way down that side, all the way down the rock wall, and we have arrived to the back corner. Deep section. Deepest, I think, on the whole pond, so maybe we can find them in the deeps, in the depths, deeps, in the deep part where I want to catch the fish. Well, not as much love in this corner as I thought there might be, so let's start fishing these trees up the side. Try it out here a little deeper, off the edge, off the bank. Nope, yep, I'd say that was a success. He was sitting on the bottom with it in his mouth. There we go. Come on. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. All right. All right. Come on. Come on. Yes. Just took getting a little bit deeper. Letting it get all the way down to the bottom. Oh yeah. There we go. If you enjoy these kinds of videos where I make something from scratch and take it out fishing, then make sure you check out this video right below. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep fishing until the next build. We'll see you guys in the shop.